Of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And by Yum. Daily school lunch menus are available to browse on the Yum website. Just visit yumcayman.ky for more info.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local environment. This is where we address the topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman. Welcome to The Buzz. I am your host, Kathy Miller, and it's a buzzing Tuesday. So far, I can say that for sure. I barely got any sleep, and I think it was just over the excitement of our very first debate that we ever held on Radio Cayman, and that happened last night with West Bay North, and then we had an individual interview with Jewel Hides for West Bay Central. The debate was nice. I think they played a little too nice when it came to the rebuttal part. You know, I want to see a little bit more action, so hopefully going forward we'll see that from the candidates that are participating in our debates. But aside from that, I do want to let people know that you can check out that debate. We're almost at 2,000 views on YouTube, so I'm quite happy to see that. So go to our YouTube page, just search for Radio Cayman on YouTube, and you will see last night's debate and interview. This morning on The Buzz, I'm happy to welcome from the PPM, we have candidate Roy Tatum, somebody I have known for years in the Cayman Islands. So it's a pleasure to have you. Roy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kathy. Good morning to you. Good morning to the constituents of Red Bay and the wider Cayman Islands. And I got to give a shout out, as I always do, to my family and friends in Cayman Brac. There's a lot of Cayman Brackers in Red Bay as well who've moved there over the years. So good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Thanks for having me here.
It's great to have you here. We've spoken throughout the years on different levels aside from a show, so it's nice to have you this time on a show. And we're going to get right into it.
Cool.
So, as I understand, you, and I know, because I've been working in government a long time as well, you were part of the PPM before they even had a name, which completely surprised me when I heard you say that on an OC show before. And in 2013, you became head of the Office of the Premier, or I think as that time it might have been known as a political advisor to the Premier. You did that for 2 terms. You helped create the government caucus, and you have spent these last 4 years as head of the office for the Leader of the Opposition. You are not a stranger to the private sector either. You've had your own business at one point, and you were working in the banking sector for 30 years prior to your supportive political roles. So you have quite the extensive resume, I would say, behind you in private and in public sector.
Yeah, that's my career, sort of in a nutshell. Before I move on, I want to just say that my colleague Crystal Gomez Wilson was going to be here this morning as well, but she's not well, unfortunately. She started to develop a flu. We have a big meeting tonight, which is one of the things I'm here to talk about.
Yes.
That's going to take place down beside the empty lot beside the Seafarers Hall. Crystal and myself, our first sort of major outing. We're looking forward to that. So looking to invite everyone from Prospect and Red Bay down to that at 7 p.m. tonight. So Crystal, if you're listening, rest up and take care. So
absolutely right. Fever grass. That's what I'm going to say. There's a bad bug going around.
I've been watching the chat, and one of the remedies that she's been that's been suggested to her, and people bringing around various things. So anyway,
well, she'll. I mean,
she'll either get worse or get better. I don't know.
Absolutely. Hopefully, she'll get better because she's not going to get worse because there is a bad bug going around. She does have a big meeting tonight, and I'm sorry she also couldn't be here this morning to join us because it was supposed to be the both of you. So, but we do have you here. So now I gave your introduction of all the different roles that you've had. Now, considering the changes that we have had in government leadership, cabinet, and parliament over these past 4 years, it's been a lot, more than I've ever experienced, more than I think we've ever experienced in Cayman. How important is knowledge and experience of governance in this election?
Not just this election, I think, but every election. The thing that I've realized, right, 2013, when I retired from banking in 2013. January 2013, I took some time off to work on the election. And then Premier Alden McLaughlin, his first term as Premier, called me and asked me to consider accepting a job as head of the office of the Premier and an advisor to the Premier. And I never forgot the words that he said. He said, "And don't tell me no, because I know that's where your heart really is." And he was right. So, but the thing that I've come to appreciate over the years is that experience that I've had, 20 plus years in politics. First time you and I met, I was organizing a political campaign for the PPM. I came in here to buy advertising time.
Yep.
That was a long time ago. But there was many years of being involved with politics and understanding politics. And then the 8 years that I had in the office of the Premier, seeing government from the inside, being involved with policy making, as you said, starting up the government caucus process, which is still being used today. It's a very good process. We can get into that at some point if you wish. It's a very good process if it's run properly. But I had a first-hand view of what it takes, and first-hand experience what it takes, not only with creating policy, but what can go very right and what can go very wrong in terms of the positions that the government takes. And I also had the opportunity to also travel with the Premier and the government, and I've seen first-hand meetings in the UK, in Brussels, been in the rooms, and just that experience as well has helped me tremendously and helped me to understand what it is that makes a successful government team. So that experience is hugely, hugely helpful. Now, when you're coming in fresh, you might not have that, but hopefully there are heads around the table when you're campaigning. Hopefully you do have experienced people around the table. So when you form a government, if you do get to form a government, you're starting off on a position of not just new eager minds, but also that experience and that knowledge about how to get things done, how to get started on day one, and also how to work within the machinery that is the government and the civil service, because you have to.
Right, exactly. And I appreciate your points with new eager minds, because it is important. It is important to get that new perspective in and that passion in as well from people who do want to see a change and make a change. But just as important, if not more important, you have to be knowledgeable of the process of government. Otherwise, you could get lost in the process.
You could not only get lost, but you could spend a lot of time spinning tires. I want to say something about the young eager minds thing. I am so proud and happy to be working alongside Crystal Gomez-Wilson. Passion and energy is fantastic. Ideas just flow from her, and her love of people. So I'm looking forward to being elected with her and working with her to bring the communities of Red Bay and Prospect together. But the point that you were making with regards to, I think it was the experience, was it?
Yeah, experience and knowledge.
Knowledge. We have in PPM, I think, a good balance of the eager minds and the experience and the knowledge. You can waste a lot of time within the first 6 months of your term if you don't start off right. I remember saying to...
What's starting off right?
Well, let me explain it this way. I remember saying to 2017 when we won the government again. I wasn't elected, obviously, but I was a part of the government caucus and the government team. When the PPM and the folks we were working with formed the government, I remember there was one individual new to governing who we had a conversation. I remember saying to him, 4 years goes by very quickly. It seems like a long time. It goes by fast. So it's important that you can hit the ground running. Right? In the PPM, we always have a manifesto. So when we present our ideas to the public, you see what it is that we say we're going to be doing. We have a manifesto launch coming up in a few weeks, so we'll talk more about that at that point. But it's important to have an idea what you're going to do from day one, and then how to go about getting those things done. If you don't, you could waste 3, 4, 5, 6 months just either trying to figure out the ropes, figuring out what it is you're going to do. I remember when the last government came into power, one of the first things that they had to do within a few months was to meet together and try to suss out what is it that their priorities are going to be. We've already done that in the PPM. We do that before every single election. So when we form a government and we come in and we understand what the landscape is in terms of the financing and so on, what funds does government have, what programs are ongoing, we then can start to implement the things that we say we want to get done. So hopefully that answered the question for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a bit of a roadmap within the PPM,
right,
should you be that elected majority government to get in.
Right.
Okay, excellent. Now, you also said previously in an interview with OC on For the Record that while you did have a role within government, your purpose was, quote, what is best for Cayman and Caymanians. So what is best, and how has that changed for you in recent years?
Well, my foray into politics started off because of my love for this country. We all say that. But my love for Cayman and things Caymanian, I didn't have a typical sort of Caymanian upbringing. There was a period of time when I'm from age 5 to 15 when my dad was working for a Caymanian flag shipping company, but it sailed out of Jamaica. So from age 5 to 15, I was in Jamaica. But we had other Caymanians around. Down the road from me was Kurt Tibbetts and his family. Not far from me was Percy Worms and his family. My Aunt Alomo would come periodically and live again down the road. My Uncle Ralph would come and stay with us while he worked. So there was this flowing of Caymanian families, either through our home or close by. But we weren't in the Cayman Islands. So my longing for this place, apart from the visits home that we had, my childhood in that period wasn't one that was typical. So I don't know if that's the reason why I have this endearment to things Caymanian. But my Caymanian people and the Cayman Islands are everything to me. So my foray into politics started off from that. I used to write letters to the Compass about things political. And when Kurt Tibbetts and Alden and our other founders, Lucille Seymour, were founding the PPM, they called me up, asked me to be one of the first folks to actually be involved with forming the party. So my time in politics goes back to then. So, and it all started because of my love for country, my wanting to be involved and to give back. So that's what's kept me here all these many, many years. And this party is one, I think, that started off from the ground up. We have kept our sight on the prize, which is for the betterment of things Caymanian. Our motto is for the love of country, for love of our islands, and that is my focus as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, you've done a bit of a listening tour of Red Bay, hitting the ground and talking with the voters and residents in the area to see what their concerns are. I know you've spoken before,
yeah,
but we sometimes we have different listeners for the Buzz as well. So I'd like you to let us know what the most pressing issues are with your constituents, what they're facing, and how you hope to address those concerns for Red Bay.
Right. So as I've walked, I've talked to hundreds of folks in Red Bay since I started what I call my listening tour. And the issues for Red Bay are probably some of the same issues for Prospect. Concerns about flooding, concerns with regards to road safety. There are one or two streets that though they were paved, the style of paving may not be the most suitable. So Prospect Drive, for instance, is one road that I keep getting complaints and requests for, that if I am elected, I should say when I'm elected, so somebody tells me stop saying if, when I'm elected, and we form the government to try to make sure that there's some road calming in certain areas, some of the roads in Red Bay. The park that we have in Red Bay, the Eddie Sanchez Community Park, is a fantastic, I was started by Sir Alden McLaughlin during his last time as Premier. It was finished by the current government. But that's a fantastic facility. It's underused. It needs lighting. I was there last night. And there was one lady walking around. I thought to myself, I wouldn't feel safe if I was there walking around. How dark it was. So it needs lighting. It may need some other facilities. I've been asked to look at getting the possibility of getting a half a basketball court in there, so have more things for kids to do. Somebody suggests a pickleball court. I don't know what size these are, but
They're pretty small.
It's small?
About the size of half a basketball court.
Okay,
well, maybe a little bigger.
There you go. So there's I've had requests for things to be done there to make it more usable. The things that impact Red Bay, though, are also things that impact the wider country. Traffic congestion. I left a little early this morning just to make sure I was here on time. I wasn't sure what the traffic would be like, but as school's out, it really wasn't. School is out, so it wasn't too bad at all, actually. But traffic congestion is a huge issue for us, just as it is for anybody living further east. I used to live in Breakers for a while when I was saving up to build our home in Red Bay. And I know the time of day that it was that we used to start off back then. I'm talking 25 plus years ago now, right? Even back then there were issues. I would hate to imagine what it is now. I've heard stories. So traffic congestion is a huge issue. You won't solve that overnight. One of the things that we do need to look at for solving that, though, is going to be to develop a proper national transportation system. So that is one of the things on our agenda. Flooding, as I said, is also an issue. Flooding from two places for two reasons. We built our home, my wife and I, 25 plus years ago. So as homes built up around us, the planning rules changed. They are built higher than we are. So whenever you have a rain that lasts 2 or 3 days, my yard is flooded. It's not as bad as I've seen others, right? But I've seen homes in Red Bay where people can hardly get out the door. We need to figure out how we solve that. I don't have that solution as I sit here today. I've talked to various people and you hear different things. But solutions for flooding is one of the things that we need to really address, along with traffic calming on several streets. Okay. The other request I've had is that things for traffic calming.
Okay. We got to go to a commercial break
That's
right
fine.
now. Yes. When we come back, we'll hear a little bit more about what your plans are and a little bit more about the meeting that you're going to be holding tonight in Red Bay.
Thank you.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Thomas Abraham Ebanks, 1882 through 1964. Mr. Abram is regarded as one of the patriarchs of West Bay. He started his life as a seaman and was miraculously saved during a storm that hit the Cayman Islands. Later in his seafaring career, he captained a mailboat which plied between Fort Myers and Okeechobee, Florida. Mr. Abram also pioneered the captive rearing of green turtles in Newtown or Governor Sound. Later in life, he started a small store. To augment his income, he became the collector of taxes in West Bay. When the government discontinued the discharge of cargo at West Bay, Mr. Abram was made the assistant warehouse keeper in Georgetown. His greatest contribution to the district was as an elder of the West Bay Presbyterian Church. Over the years, he influenced many young people to follow the straight path by his sermonettes and by his own example.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Hey Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked. You can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
Hi, this is Roy Tatum, your PPM candidate for Red Bay.
Hi, this is Crystal Gomez-Wilson, your PPM candidate for Prospect.
Come out Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. to our joint Red Bay and Prospect area meeting at the empty lot next to the Seafarers Hall.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven, stable leadership. Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio with me is PPM candidate for Red Bay, Mr. Roy Tatum. We were talking about some of the issues in Red Bay and how he hopes to address them, and I think you have a couple more points that you'd like to make, right, Roy?
That's correct. Thanks, Kathy. I mentioned earlier on that with regards to Crystal, how well we work together, and what a dynamic individual she is. We did a joint family fun day prior to Christmas. Just after Christmas, and that was a fantastic event. The number of people who came to us afterwards, who said that we need to have these kind of things more often. So that is one of the things that we are certainly aiming to do and will be doing, is bringing the communities of Red Bay and Prospect together more. It really is sort of one big community. But the number of folks who look forward to us doing that again, and we plan to have one following the election. But things, again, like utilizing the Eda Sanchez Park more for events like that. We've also identified a place for a joint Red Bay Prospect office. We plan at the moment for that to be more than just an office. Right? We're looking for that to be a real community hub that can be used for things for the elderly, for instance, a place for elderly to come. In Cayman Brack, there's a group of older ladies who meet ever so often, what they call the So-and-So Club, right? Where they sew. I thought it was a fantastic name. It's a fantastic thing they come together and they create. But that's not just a place for older folks to come. It's a place to bring some younger people as well to actually learn some talents. There was a young lady I met the other day. Amazingly, while she was waiting to speak with someone, she went to her bag and she pulled out crochet, and she was crocheting. I've not seen a young person crochet in ages. I thought it was the neatest thing. So, and I asked her whether she pick it up, and again she picked up. I thought she did from one of her aunts, and she just loved it. So she crochets every opportunity that she gets. But these are things that we have plans for in terms of using our office as a community hub to bring older folks in, but also some younger folks. So not just the fun activities, maybe some learning activities, talking about our history. I mentioned I love things Caymanian. I love our history. It's just amazing to me to see where we have come, especially in the last 60 to 70 years, and from whence we have come. The stories my mom used to tell me about her childhood, we were poor. She used to walk to, we've all heard them. If you're Caymanian, your parents or grandparents told you the stories about walking to school, holding your shoes in your hand, having to put your shoes on when you went to the classroom. How tough it really was back then. You literally really had to look after each other. But for our young people to have an appreciation, a better appreciation from whence we've come, how tough it really was back then. But we persevered, and we have built, along with those who came here to help us, a really vibrant society. We have problems, but Cayman is a wonderful place. All three islands, right? All three are unique and very wonderful.
We only got a few minutes left, so I'm cognizant of that, and I know you want to talk about your meeting as well tonight.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Right, so again tonight, Crystal Gomez Wilson, and myself, Roy Tatum, will be having a joint Prospect and Red Bay meeting. I'm encouraging everybody in Prospect and Red Bay who can to come out to that. It's at the empty lot next to the Seafarers Hall. We're looking at having a fantastic time, speaking to people, talking about some of the concerns that I haven't been able to get to so far today, but to talk about our experience as we have gone canvassing and talking to people, and looking forward to mingling afterwards and just mixing with as many people as we possibly can. So that's tonight at 7 o'clock, the empty lot next to the Seafarers Hall. So Red Bay, Prospect, come on out. Looking forward to seeing you.
All right, so we're going to be addressing some of those concerns that people have in Red Bay, also the experience that you have. Anything else that people can expect from tonight's meeting?
I don't want to. I'm expecting some several guest speakers. I won't spoil it, but
can't even tease us with maybe a couple of guest speakers.
No,
I know it's you and at least Crystal.
But we will have. I can say that Crystal will have some folks there as well talking about her. Sir Alden will come and talk about his time with me. The former leader of the opposition, Roy M, as we call him. Quick fun thing, back in our caucus, back in the day, you had two Roys. You had Roy Tatum and Roy McTaggart. So I became known as Roy T.
Okay.
And Roy McTaggart was Roy M. So Roy M will be there tonight, also speaking. And I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say, but really looking forward for Crystal and myself, for our very first outing, to give the people, let people understand who we are, what we're about, and to then mix and mingle afterwards.
Okay, I like that. Now, if there's any last words you want to leave with our listeners, we have just under a minute that you can do so. Now's the time.
We in the PPN, we are the only party that has been around, that has a history. We have a history of accomplishments. 20 odd years we've been together. You can go on our website and you can see manifestos across 5 elections now. And you can go through a manifesto, and you can tick off things that you see getting done. We don't put a manifesto together just to say we're putting a manifesto together. These are things that we know we can accomplish and that needs doing for the betterment of Cayman. Being a political party, being a part of a political party means that when I go to the people in Red Bay and I present a Red Bay manifesto for things I want to achieve, or a manifesto for the Cayman Islands, I know that is something, those are the things we can get in, because I have 13 people who, along with me, have agreed that these are important to Red Bay, important to the country, and we can get these things done. If I was running by myself, I could present ideas I would like to see happen, but unless I have the ability to have a team who can work with me and who have agreed that these are the things we want to do, I wouldn't be able to get that done. So I'm grateful to be part of this team, and I'm not sure how much time I have left, but I will say, please support PPM candidates across all the constituencies where we have candidates. In Cayman Brack, Premier Julie, I wish you very well over there, and I wish all our candidates well across Grand Cayman.
Okay, thank you very much. You're almost right on time. We got to go to the 8 a.m. news now. It was a pleasure to have you on this morning. And again, a reminder to our listeners, there is a Red Bay and Prospect joint meeting tonight.
Yes, that's right.
With candidates Roy Tatum and Crystal Gomez-William for the PPM.
Yeah,
So that
Wilson.
starts at what time? Yes, Crystal Gomez-Wilson.
Gomez-Wilson for Prospect and Roy Tatum for Red Bay.
And what time does that start again?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. All right.
Mckellop next to Seafarers Hall.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Roy. And we're going to go to the 8 a.m. news, and I will be back with our listeners at 8:15.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Kathy. And studio time now is a minute after 8, brought to you with kind compliments of Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brack and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. A murder trial is set to start this week with 2 people charged in connection with the 2023 shooting of Devontae Hernandez. George Orlando Sr. is charged with murder. Bianca Vega accused of aiding her co-defendant in evading arrest. Sr. was one of 3 people arrested in relation to Mr. Hernandez's murder, which happened in front of the victim's young daughter. The Family Resource Center is excited to be hosting the 2nd annual Inspire Her Women Inspiring Girls Conference, hosted this Saturday at the Intergenerational Hub from 9 until noon.
The event is open to all young girls between the ages of 13 and 25. We are super excited to be hosting this event with a packed agenda to really and truly embody this year's theme of #AccelerateAction.
FRC Charmaine Miller tells Radio Cayman this year's focus will be on, quote, breaking down systemic barriers that oftentimes promote gender inequality, inviting 5 guest speakers in fields such as environment, engineering, technology, and more to inspire Cayman's young girls to pursue similar careers.
It is an opportunity to learn from women who have already been in this journey of pursuing similar careers and really and truly be inspired by them. There will be an opportunity for them to be more intimate through stationed discussions, right, that are focused on getting to know them a little bit more and understanding what their journey has been. So please ensure to come out. It is going to be a phenomenal event and a true opportunity to connect, network, and celebrate Honoring Women Month.
Again, the Inspire Her conference is Saturday from 9 to noon at the Intergenerational Hub. The government's focus on wellness continues with the opening of a new calisthenics park in Watering Place, Cayman Brack. More from CIGTV's Kafar Augustin.
Premier, the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Connolly spoke to the value added by the park during the official opening ceremony.
We did one, obviously, years ago at the 7 Mile Public Beach, and once we did that, we decided we'd also do one here. And the gentleman who assisted there also came on board from a human resource perspective, and his guys came down from Germany, and they worked miraculously. Really, really worked hard to see what we have here today in the Public Works Cayman Board and worked as well. It was a good example of a private-public partnership.
The park is similar in design to the 7 Mile Beach Calisthenics Park, aligning with government's intention to provide equitable access to facilities across all 3 islands.
In regional news, a small passenger plane crashed seconds after taking off from Roatan near mainland Honduras Monday, killing all but 5 of the 17 people on board. The Jetstream 32 aircraft was carrying 15. The flight's destination was a Ceiba, nearby city in the country's northern coast. The National Police later said on social media that 12 people aboard had died and 5 had survived. It said the body of one of those killed was still missing and that recovery efforts continue at the crash site. The cause of the crash was not immediately clear by this morning, and Civil Aeronautics Agency officials say an investigation has begun. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Roisin Hasty. Hamas officials say Israeli airstrikes across Gaza have killed more than 400 people. They include the group's heads of government and security. The attacks are the largest since a ceasefire began in January. A senior UN aid official has described the airstrikes as unconscionable. Ukraine's foreign minister has urged Russia to agree to a 30-day ceasefire to show if it really wants peace. His comments come ahead of a phone call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, who will speak in the coming hours. Poland, Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia have announced their withdrawal from the International Convention banning landmines. They say military threats to NATO member states bordering Russia and Belarus has significantly increased. Germany's parliament is debating proposed changes to the constitution to loosen restrictions on government borrowing. It would allow for billions more to be spent on defence. The incoming Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, said Germany had to rebuild its military capabilities. Pakistan's top civilian and military leaders have held a security meeting to discuss a sharp escalation in militant attacks. The Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said the Army's Chief General Asim Munir were among those at the gathering. That's the latest BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Hi, I'm Deputy Governor Franz Manderson, and I'm excited to announce the DG's 5K Challenge is just around the corner. We kick off things in Little Cayman on March 9th, followed by Cayman Brac on March 16th, and the grand finale on Grand Cayman on March 30th. This year, we're supporting the Cayman Islands Girls Brigade, the Cayman Islands Scouts Association, and the One-to-One Foundation, each helping to shape our next generation. Join us in making a positive impact. For registration details, find us on Facebook at DG's 5K Challenge.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Brigade, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 79 degrees. Relative humidity is 68%. The barometric pressure 30.06 inches and rising. The wind is north-northeast at 10 knots. Overnight low was 73. Synopsis indicate fresh to locally strong northerly winds are expected as a high-pressure system builds across the Gulf of Mexico, tightening the pressure gradient. Swells are likely across northern and western coast of Cayman through Wednesday morning. Radar images show isolated showers to the southeast of Grand Cayman moving south. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today calling for mostly sunny skies with less than a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the low 80s. Winds will be north to northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Swells are likely along the northern and western coast, and small craft should exercise caution over the open seas for today and tonight as well. Forecast for tonight, mostly clear with less than a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be northeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, moderate to rough seas with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Swells are likely along the northern and western coast for tonight as well. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 10:43, low tide this evening at 5:20. The sun will set this evening at 6:35 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:31. And the outlook is calling for fresh winds with moderate seas expected to continue through Wednesday as the associated high-pressure system lingers across the southeastern United States. Thereafter, a decrease in winds and seas are expected through Thursday as the pressure gradient begins to weaken. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Hey, Bill, glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Britke. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mark Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britke, where people come first.
Cayman, could it be you? Tortuga's 10K giveaway is back, and someone's walking away with $10,000 in cash. Every time you spend $25 at Tortuga, in-store or online at tortuga.ky, you get a shot at winning big. As well as $10,000 in cash, we've got thousands in giveaways to hand out every week. Think staycations, the latest iPhones, exclusive experiences, and more. Get in to win. Visit tortuga.ky for the full terms and conditions.
Attention Cayman! Transform your kitchen for less with Granite Express, Cayman's big clearance sale. Sale has now been extended till March 18. Get huge discounts on granite and quartz kitchen countertops. Plus, refresh your space with our cabinet respray services for as low as $3,950. If you only want a countertop, prices start at $2,150. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit Granite Express Cayman today or call 922-0424 for a free estimate. That's 922-0424. Granite Express. Quality stone. Unbeatable prices.
Hi, this is Roy Tatum, your PPM candidate for Red Bay.
Hi, this is Crystal Gomez-Wilson, your PPM candidate for Prospect.
Come out Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. to our joint Red Bay and Prospect area meeting at the empty lot next to the Seafarers Hall.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven, stable leadership. Moving forward with the PPM.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Slow moving traffic on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Expect some delays. Heading east on Cool Road, traffic is moving on moderately. Further up on Shamrock Road, traffic is flowing moderately. Further down, a different story. As we look to the Linford-Pearson Highway, traffic is heavy. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady traffic, as well as Agnes Way. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing at a good pace. And steady traffic coming off, on Huldah Avenue. And heading towards the Industrial Park area, traffic is moving on moderately. And steady but flowing traffic on North Sound Road in both directions. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo Footlong Cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points, or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo Footlong Cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. And on this segment of The Buzz, we're going to be talking with Drift UAV Enterprise Services. I have Jervan McKellip, President and Chief Consultant and UAS Pilot of Drift Enterprise UAV Services, Cayman Islands. And on the phone from Canada, we have Matthew Johnson, Vice President, Director of Education, and Volatus. Did I say that right?
Volatus.
Okay. Aerospace. And he's calling from Winnipeg, Canada. So good morning to you.
Thank you very much for having us.
No problem at all. And Matthew, you there on the phone?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. How are you doing? Yes.
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Excellent. So I'm just going to start off with a couple questions here first with Dervon, and then we're going to get into the partnership between Dervon and yourself, all right? Now, just to set the scene a little bit, let us know what inspired you to start this company, Dervon. What was the whole inspiration behind it? What made you say, okay, Cayman needs this kind of service?
All right, so very good question. So I have a background in information technology before actually venturing into drones. However, I was a hobbyist. A hobbyist pretty much is somebody that flies around for fun and recreational purposes. But then some almost 10 years ago, I was a part of a subject matter expert group in the U.S., particularly in Chicago, and I heard about that there was a drone advisory group. But at that time, I said to my director then, I wanted to become a part of the drone advisory group. However, he shared something that was funny but serious. He said, well, drones are just a thing and they will go away in a few years.
Really?
Yes, that's what he said. But I lived to experience the opposite of what he said. So that, spiraled me into started in the creative industry. So I started doing, aerial videos and, that sort of stuff. But then from an IT perspective, I'm a data guy. So I, like to process data, look at its insights and its benefits to organization. And so when I moved to Cayman, a couple of years ago, I decided that I was going to venture into the creative space. But then from that, I wanted to, help businesses. And that's where Drift Enterprise Limited / Drift UAV Services was formed. And we then focus on, the heavy commercial industries, which we'll speak about, the type of industries that we support and how we support them as we go through this interview. But that's kind of where the journey has started with, Drift UAV, and it has, taken us, across, the region, internationally, and even so speaking with this partnership with Volatus out of Canada.
So what was the scene like 10 years ago in Cayman? I was about to say in Canada. In Cayman, what was that scene, the drone scene?
So I've not been that long in Cayman in terms of years, but when I came here initially, the scene was, pretty much, I would say new, but it had a framework that you could work with as an operator, as a pilot. However, it has evolved and grown. More and more drones are being integrated into the space. A lot of folks have, purchased their drones, whether it's for hobbyist purposes or commercial purposes. So I could say, when I got here the last, say, for instance, six years ago, from where I've seen the industry, it has, really grown. In terms of the industry verticals that are here, it's a small industry vertical. So it's why one of the reasons, our operations tend to be, a bit more strategic and diverse, and also spans, not just Cayman, but the region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, when we think about drones, I would say yes, more the hobbyist thing. When I first started playing around with them, I mean, I'm still on that kind of hobby level. If anything, I don't have my own drone, but this is using other people's when I'm lucky enough to.
Yes.
And for marketing purposes, I completely get it. But the use of drones has grown so much, and it's quite a crazy spectrum. So you can go from being a hobby to using drones for warfare and, airstrikes and whatnot.
Definitely.
So and that has happened in the past week over with Russia and the Ukraine,
yes.
Unfortunately. So in realizing just the capacity with drones and understanding how we have to kind of monitor their use in Cayman, can you at all speak to basically the governance of drones, the laws surrounding drone use in Cayman, what is allowed, what's not allowed, what we have to be aware of, even if we're just a hobbyist?
Yeah, so most definitely. So there are rules and regulations that governs the operation of drones, whether you are a hobbyist or whether you're operating on a commercial banner. Now, for the hobbyist, there are some guidelines in the rules, such as you don't fly, close to the airport. You don't fly above 400 feet above ground.
When we say close to the airport, do you know the distance?
Yeah, the distance is normally 3 nautical miles away from the airport. So one would say, a range of 3 to 5 kilometers is that distance within the cone. So that's when you're carrying out, say, for instance, hobbyist operation. Now, typically, if you want to fly within the cone of the airport, there are certain rules. There's a process that you have to go through. So, who governs that? The authority that governs, drone regulations within the Cayman Islands is the Civil Aviation Authority. So they have governance over, both manned and unmanned or uncrewed operations of drones. And as it relates to a few other regulations, it would mean you don't fly in, say, for instance, close to a hospital or near an hospital or helipad, sorry. As well as you don't fly at least, say, 50 meters in close proximity to buildings and persons. There are exemptions that from a commercial perspective, when you're operating, that you can have in your operations manual that speaks to other operations within the space. Now, when it comes on to the commercial side of drone operation, then you have a process that you have to apply for a license or what is called an aerial work permit with the Civil Aviation Authority, which means then that you have to satisfy certain regulations or certain requirements that the Civil Aviation have in place for you to be able to apply for that area work permit. It's granted, and then you can carry out those commercial operations. And those commercial operation overall, commercial operation takes into consideration anything that you're doing that is for earning.
Okay, now I'm a bit of a rule breaker at times, so how would they know I'm just gonna, pop a drone up in the air, whether it's 100 feet or so? Would they know? Could I get away with that if I'm doing it within that close cone towards the airport or hospitals?
So there are there are a few zones within the island or the cone. If you check the regulations or the publications from the Civil Aviation, it will show where there are restricted zones. Depending on the type of drone that you're using, that drone might not be able to take off in what is called a red zone. It means that that's a no-fly zone or restricted zone, and only authorized persons, either you're an authorized operator or if you're working in law enforcement, say for instance the police or any other law enforcement agency or public safety agency, would be able to operate within those remit. But you also have to satisfy those safety requirements, because then it's a high traffic zone where aircraft and other low-flying crafts are flying in that space as well.
Right. No, I understand that. But how would they know if I put my drone out there? Does it emit some sort of a signal that the aviation authority would be like, some alarm went off, her drone is up in the air?
So it goes back to what is called your moral compass. Okay. You are going to be an upstanding citizen, to obey those rules. You can't operate your drone as a hobbyist. And, there are, operators who might be operating who are not necessarily licensed or, go through the full aspects of it. But to be safe and in the safe side of the law, you want to, as best as possible, practice what the law preaches, because you don't want to end up on the wrong side of the law as it relates to your operation.
Got you. I'm sure there would be some fines or penalties faced if you were caught doing so.
Yes,
anyways.
There are some fines out there.
All right. So the other rule breakers out there, try to adhere, because there's very good reason that you might be in a restricted zone and will need special permission to be able to fly your drone at a certain height or within a certain zone. And can you tell people where they can find that information?
They can find that information on the Civil Aviation website. So you can search on the internet and you can find that information on the Civil Aviation website, both for guidance for hobbyist pilots as well as for commercial operators who wants to, go about the aspect of, applying for an airworld work permit. They can find that information on the Civil Aviation website.
Okay, thank you. Now, let's get into everything that's new with Drift. And I understand you have a new partnership as well, but let us know what's new.
Yeah. So over the last, I would say, 14 to 18 months, we have been doing a lot of strategic review of our operations. We have formed new partnerships. We have implemented new programs. We have, expanded into other territories outside of the Cayman Islands and been doing projects also within the region, carrying on, various campaigns, and as well as also doing speaking engagements at different, commercial conferences to, help the industry overall to understand, the value that drone technology brings. But not only drone technology, because we also, specialize in artificial intelligence in our operation as it relates to image analysis, reporting, and all of that stuff. So quite a number of, new things have been happening within this space. We have also, done a few, new introduction to, new stuff to the Cayman Islands, which we'll expound on as we, go through this interview. But I would say overall, from a strategic perspective, we have been, making, moves in the region within the Cayman Islands, and we hope, to help also the industry in the Cayman grow from these implementations that we have been, working on doing.
All right. Well, let's talk about the partnership with Volatus Aerospace out of Canada. Matthew, you still with us?
Yep.
All right. Do you want to touch on this partnership? How did you get involved with Drift Enterprises and get in contact with Jervan?
I'd say LinkedIn is a pretty good resource for finding people in the industry, and I was pretty active on LinkedIn and saw that Dervon was also doing some really intriguing things in the drone space a few years ago. So initially we made contact a few years ago and discussed ways that we might be able to work together. I've been involved in drones and education for quite some time now. I used to be a teacher here in Canada for a few years before I ended up leaving that career path to focus on the drone industry, which kind of gives an example of how fast this industry is growing. It's burgeoning right now. It's a bubbling cauldron of opportunity, and so I love working with students and trying to inspire them. And Dervon was working with students in Cayman, so I reached out and said, hey, we've got some programs that might be a good fit, and see what we can do together.
Can you give us a brief synopsis of what Volatus Aerospace is about? What services you do
Yeah,
offer?
Volatus. So Volatus is a kind of a multi-tiered drone company. We have even manned aircraft that do a lot of pipeline inspections across North America. So we're not just drones. We're kind of that's why we're called Aerospace. We do a bunch of different things. But in terms of the drone industry, we do services all across North America in many different industries, hydroline inspections and various types of infrastructure inspections. My specialization, my background, aside from education, is agriculture. So I've been using drones to help agronomists, like farming scientists, do research for agriculture since 2017 now. There's so many different ways that the technology can be used. Our company is trying to help other companies that are either wanting to start using the technology themselves through training programs, or we can do the services directly for them. As it comes to education, my focus is trying to help the next generation get their career aspirations kind of lined up with aerospace and aviation. Like I said, there's tons of opportunities in this field, and so we try to kind of inspire youth from as early as like grade 3 all through high school, through different levels of programming that start with really kind of basic intro to drones up to advanced applications, teaching them how to do some of that agricultural, like scientific research using sensors, multispectral sensors and thermal sensors and different types of remote sensors that detect energy that our eyes can't see. So it's pretty neat. It's a very, very interesting field.
It does sound very interesting, and I feel like I have to enroll back in high school to learn more about this. I want to be part of these programs. We got to go to a commercial break right now, but when we come back, we will continue with the conversation.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Hi, this is Roy Tatum, your PPM candidate for Red Bay.
Hi, this is Crystal Gomez-Wilson, your PPM candidate for Prospect.
Come out Tuesday, March 18th at 7 p.m. to our joint Red Bay and Prospect area meeting at the empty lot next to the Seafarers Hall.
Come listen to the issues and solutions that matter to you. We are proven, stable leadership. Moving forward with the PPM.
We're moving forward. We're moving forward.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I am your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking all about drones this morning. And if you heard me right before the break, I said, boy, I think I need to enroll back in high school with all the programs that they're teaching to understand the technology that drones has evolved into, how you can use drones, just all the different areas, the spaces that drones can take you in. It's a evolving industry, and I think this is a very interesting conversation so far. I have in studio with me Dervon McKellip. He's the president and chief consultant and UAS pilot of Drift Enterprise UAV Services. And on the phone out of Canada, we have Matthew Johnson. He's the vice president and director of education with Volatus Aerospace. And you're still there, Matthew, right? We got you there, Matthew? All right. There you are. Now, before the break, you'd also said, you looked on LinkedIn, you found Dervon's information, and you basically linked them from there. And you touched on, you could see that there's some educational partnerships that you and Jervan could explore together. So could you elaborate on the educational partnerships, which I think brought about the, the whole partnership that you guys have together now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I was saying the different types of programs that we have are for grade 3 up through grade 12. We have some high school programs, and the types of things that I was seeing that Dervon was doing in schools was kind of aligned nicely with what I have been kind of spreading across in North America. We've run these programs now from basically as far north as you can go on the North American continent before you hit the Arctic Ocean, to almost the border between the United States and Mexico down in San Diego, Texas. We've run them on the West Coast and the East Coast, and getting into offering programming in the Caribbean was something that was definitely a goal of mine. And so there hasn't been, there's not a lot of other companies that are doing this sort of thing across North America, for that instance, or for that matter. And when you consider the Caribbean, Drift is one of the only companies that are doing this sort of thing. So connecting with Dervon was a priority. Like I said, we connected probably 2 or maybe 3 years ago now. Just trying to figure out the best way to bring programming to the area, and so we're working on some pretty cool opportunities right now, especially with one of our programs, the Science Experiential Aerial Research Program, or the SEER program.
Yes, tell us more about that one. What is this program
all
about?
So that is a very, very cool program where students, high school students from grade 9 to grade 12, learn how to use drones and machine learning tools or artificial intelligence to capture drone data. They learn about the regulations, safety, and communication while operating as part of a professional drone team. They learn about how the electromagnetic spectrum is connected to, depending on which project we're doing in the program. We have agricultural focused projects, or ones where we can measure plant health based on the way that near infrared light from the sun interacts with chlorophyll in plant leaves, and you can actually see how healthy the plants are. Even if they look green to our eyes, they may not be as healthy as other plants around them. And so in terms of agriculture, that's very important, and you can decide on where you need to put more fertilizer or use pesticides or whatever it is to deal with the issues.
And you
so
can just do that with a drone, like taking pictures or images of different plants that you're looking at, and that can tell you all that information. That's amazing.
When we're looking, what we see with our eyes is only a very, very small sliver of the amount of energy that is flowing around us. That's mostly emitted from the sun, and every little wavelength of light energy interacts with different things on the surface of the earth in different ways. And so one of the projects that we're planning on running as part of the SEER program in Cayman is it's called the LITTER project. And we're going to be using drones with multispectral sensors that can detect, like I said, near infrared light, red edge light. These are wavelengths that we can't see with our eyes, but they reflect off of different types of materials like plastics and metal and glass. Like glass, light transmits right through glass. So that's one different component. It reflects highly off of plastic. Plastic and chlorophyll are very similar in some ways in the way that they reflect near infrared light, and it's almost like a mirror. So the purpose of that program is to teach them, first of all, how you can measure the electromagnetic spectrum and determine different valuable information from the data that you're collecting. But also in the classroom, we'll take the data that we collect and then show them how to train machine learning algorithms to sort the data. So we have all these pictures. We might have thousands of pictures of the beaches along the Cayman, and then training a machine learning algorithm to be able to automatically find all of the plastic or all of the different, basically all the different types of litter that are washing up, trying to sort them into the different classes, the different types of litter, and to develop an optimized route to be able to clean them up. So it could be along the beaches, could be just in the city. It's not like a hugely commercial opportunity necessarily, and there probably is an opportunity to use that particular application of the technology as a commercial service or something, but it's mainly about the process. We're just teaching how this all works and how machine learning algorithms are developed and that sort of thing. And so like another alternative program is something that we're looking at doing called the Mangrove Project, looking at the health of the mangroves based on the way that they're reflecting that near infrared light and maybe things that are influencing them, like metals and hydrocarbons from oil or whatever in the water, affecting the health of the plants. So
I think
there's
this
a
is
lot
so
of different things
interesting.
that you can do with the technology.
I'm blown away. I think this is so interesting. It's a lot different than I expected with what drones could do, or from my limited understanding of what drones could do. So I appreciate getting this bit of an educational opportunity from the both of you right now. And I also appreciate the fact that to clean up our oceans, I think seeing what drones can show us, the litter that is in the oceans. You mentioned our beaches. I think that's such an important way of looking at things, and this is technology that perhaps, whether government already uses this in Cayman or other private companies or other agencies, I think it's something that they should consider doing if they're not employing your services right now for this, especially with the health of our mangroves, which is such an important part in protecting the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, most definitely. And so this is also a plug for, organizations out there who, want to partner with us on this, particular project, given that it's also, impacting the youth. So
Plastic-Free Cayman would be an excellent one to work with as
Yeah.
well. I know they're super active out there. And, for my own curiosity here, because you did say metals that the drones could detect, what if I wanted to go hunting for gold? I know you're kind of laughing at me, Dervon, but this is a real question right now. What if I wanted to go hunting for gold? How plausible is it to use drones for that purpose?
So to answer that, so we have drones that use what is called, a technology that is called GPR, ground penetration radar, that it can see what's beneath the surface. It might not necessarily tell you that there's gold there, but it will detect, if there's any, type of metal or, that type of whatever is beneath the surface. So that pretty much helps you the drone will, fly across with the sensor attached to it to scan what's beneath the surface, and you then create those layers in the data that is captured to see what's beneath the surface. Then you could, find ways to carry out your exploration in terms of what you're looking for beneath. So
it's possible. So I'm going to throw that now to oil. It's possible to also look for oil that way.
The technology is evolving, so there are always possibilities, and there's always new things that are coming in with the technology. So anything is possible as it relates to how drones are being used today and how they will be used in the future.
Okay. All right. We got to go to our next commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about a youth drone camp. And Dervon has brought some devices in here, so we're also going to be talking about that because one of them kind of looks like a ball that I would be playing with. I didn't even realize it was a drone at first. So we're going to be talking about that after our commercial break.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it. The nation listens. The candidates speak. Subway presents the General Election Debates, live in studio on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM and 93.9 in the Sister Islands. Every Monday and select Wednesdays from 7 to 10 p.m. 2 sessions. One powerful discussion. With Election Day fast approaching, hear what the candidates have to say on the cost of living, housing and development, economic growth, sustainability, education, transport, tourism, immigration, and more. Who has the vision? Who has the plan? Hear it all unfold live, unfiltered, and on the voice of the Cayman Islands. Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM and 93.9. Streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Visit Radio Cayman's social media pages for debate details. Brought to you in part by Cayman Enterprise City.
Also brought to you by Reflections, UCCI, and Yum.
The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are talking all about drones and how much they've evolved, the ever-expansive use of drones. And in studio with me, I have Dervon McKellip, President and Chief Consultant and UAS Pilot of Drift Services UAV Services. On the phone, we have Matthew Johnson, Vice President, Director of Education with Volatus Aerospace, and he is calling in from Canada. Now, we talked about the education partnership, SEER, I think it's called, SEER, that you have with Volatus, and we're going to talk a little bit about a youth drone camp that you're offering. So tell us what this youth drone camp is about, what makes it unique, what do students learn? I mean, I think it's unique as is, but what do students learn when they come into this youth drone camp?
Matt, you're still there?
Yeah. Youth drone camp is that's for students starting usually in around grade 3, and we have it kind of broken into different age groups, so they can be age 7 to 9, 10 to 13, 14 to 17, kind of separate the content based on the age of the students that are taking part. They get introduced a little bit to the drone industry. They learn about different career opportunities in the industry, depending on how old they are. I know that a 7 or 8 year old might not care all that much about different industries that are using drones, but they may
Matthew,
be interested.
I do want to say that might be from that younger age, but for the people in high school, at least, that can see that this is an avenue for the future, I think that's an important thing to hit on, because we keep, in Cayman, we're talking about the different emerging industries that are out there, and not always necessarily your typical kind of law and finance sector, which is really great and important, but also other avenues of exploration. So I think it's important to touch on what kind of future you could have if you explore the drone industry.
For sure. In the older sessions, we definitely spend a little bit more time talking about the career paths and how to make this. I mean, a high school student really, there's not a lot that would necessarily be stopping someone from trying to start their own business while they're still in high school, or shortly thereafter if they wanted to get involved in the technology. It's just it's a huge opportunity. So the sooner that you get involved in it, the sooner you can find what pathway is going to work best for you. For me, it was education and agriculture. For other people, they might find aerial photography is their main thing that they want to do, or real estate, or whatever. There's just so many fields. And so in the camp, they get exposed to that. They get a lot of hands-on piloting experience. They do drone racing. They do we do some coding with drones, where they learn some of the basics of coding and how to they have to basically navigate through an obstacle course and figure out what the code is to be able to do that. And it's basically trial and error. And we do engineering challenges where they get to play with Lego and try and modify their drone, basically simulating cargo operations. So our company in Canada, we just merged with another public company called Drone Delivery Canada in September last year, who are one of the leaders in, I would say, the world for some of the cargo transport work that we've been doing with medium-sized UAVs. And so we kind of incorporate that into our camp and do like relay races where they have to move small cargo, basically Lego blocks, around a space, and they're racing each other to try and come up with the best design to do that. And
when did these camps take place?
Sorry?
When did the camps take place?
We're working on scheduling them. Like, we run them all across North America at different times. We're looking at scheduling some camps in the fall and winter time in Cayman.
Okay.
With Drift.
Okay. And for people who are curious now and want to find out more about the camps, how would they gather this information?
They can reach out to us either via email or through our Drones in School Instagram page. They can contact us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all the socials that are there. So they could search for Drift UAV Services. Or if they're interested in learning about the Drones in School program and the SEER program, they could search for our Drones in School page on Instagram as well as on LinkedIn. So we are, very much in the social space, and we also, are very involved in, visiting schools and doing the career fairs, the science fairs, to kind of introduce, what we're doing in the space to schools as well as school administrators, for them to see, the different various programs that we have here offering on island outside of just a regular programming that, everyone is used to. So they can definitely find us there.
How is the partnership with the local schools and with teachers? Are you finding it difficult to kind of get in to teach this kind of new technology, or it's an easy path for you?
I would say it's something new. So there's always, that teething process in terms of introducing it. But one of the things that we've seen is that once we get to the schools, the students enjoys it. The teachers are curious about it, because one of the things about the drones is not just a drone; it's a tool in the teacher's toolbox. So we use drones to teach concepts in, say, for instance, maths, English, science, physics, geography, and you could name every subject across that is actually taught in a school, from the primary level up to the college years level. Drones are able to teach at least one or two concepts in that. So we also offer what is called the professional development programs for teachers to learn how to integrate, drone technology into the classroom.
I wish that was in my area. I probably would have been a lot more interested in physics or something like this if we were using drones or learning with drones. So you did bring some devices into our studio this morning.
Yes, most definitely.
Tell us what's going on here.
All right, so we recently did a soft launch for what is called the Cayman Islands Drone Soccer. Very new in the Cayman Islands as well as new to Caribbean region, and it's a new program overall. Within the technology sphere. So, in a nutshell, what is drone soccer? Drone soccer is a new emerging e-sport that blends STEM technology with competitive learning. With drone soccer, you're playing in what is called an enclosed arena, and you're flying the drones to score goals just as in the regular soccer game. However, it's played with each team having 5 players, and the 5 players also have specific positions on the team. So you have what is called a striker and a forward, and you have a keeper, a sweeper, and a defender. So you find that, you know, each person have a strategic way to fly these drones, and what happens when you fly them in that enclosed arena, they bump into each other. There's only one of the drone ball that is designated as the striker that can only score goals.
Okay, so I see 3 there on the console here in the studio. So for our YouTube viewers, or if you're listening to this and you go back later to watch on YouTube, we have 3 kind of, they're drones with this kind of netting almost around them.
Yes.
So, but it's like
it's a drone ball.
A drone ball.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 2 bigger ones is that the players?
So the 2 bigger ones are the competitive balls that we use.
Okay.
The smaller one we use that for smaller kids who, you know, are starting to learn how to control these drone soccer balls. In terms of class and category, the drone soccer is played into 2 different classes. We have what is a class 20, which is a 20 centimeter drone ball, which is that one that you're seeing there, and then we have what is called a class 40, which is a 40 centimeter ball, and what that pretty much is, that is used in high competitive sport, so more likely advanced players, advanced pilots, as well as at the collegiate level, as well as professionals play that, you know, that level of drone soccer. For the smaller ball, the 20 centimeter, it's normally played with high school students and beginners who are learning the sport. So currently we have an upcoming event to expose drone soccer for public viewing, and we're also preparing for the Drone Soccer World Championship in South Korea for September 2025. So we're looking to recruit and build the first Cayman Islands national drone soccer team to take to South Korea, hopefully for September. Yep.
This is amazing. I'm completely fascinated by the idea of drone soccer here. And I understand you're going to California, right?
Yes, we are heading off to California later this week, where I'll be representing the Cayman Islands and the Caribbean in a major drone festival. A part of that festival lineup is that we will be hosting a few other countries out in California, playing drone soccer. We'll be doing drone racing, as well as we are hosting a 1,000 drone light show. So the next couple of days is going to be very, very exciting, not just for us at Drift only, but also for the Caribbean, you know, and representing the Cayman Islands on a large you know, platform about representing drones in the drone industry. So that's a big thing, you know, big thing for me and big thing for us, and as well as we officiating in that festival as well. So
and you're trying to launch the kind of Cayman Islands chapter of drone soccer as well, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So if people want to find out more about that, it's get in touch with Drift Services.
So they can search for Cayman Drone Soccer on Instagram, and they'll find, you know, information about, you know, the Cayman Islands Drone Soccer Association. Yep.
Okay, so that's so interesting. Now, we only got maybe about 2 minutes or so left, so I'd like to just, again, give people a bit of a brief summary about what you do offer for your services at Drift. Now, you also just mentioned kind of a light show that we can do with drones, right?
Yes.
And I know recently for Pirates Week, instead of having a fireworks finale at night one time, they had a drone light show happen. So is this something that you also offer?
That's something that we also offer. To even make it clear, we also offer in our educational program, educational drone light show program, where we're teaching the kids how to design the drone light show with low altitude drones that are used in a classroom or in a say for instance a gymnasium, that they can, you know, code those drones to, you know, do the same type of animations and graphics that you would see displayed in the drone light show. So we offer both, you know, educational drone light show as well as commercial drone light shows as well.
Okay. Now, what if you're an adult and you want to learn these things? I can't enroll myself back into high school.
If you're an adult and you want to learn this thing, we also offer training and certification programs in various drone technology areas. So drone piloting, as well as the animation side of things. So you can learn how to start your own drone light show business, and so forth. But overall, in a summary, I would say we offer a wide range of services at Drift UAV Services, from anything from aerial photography to mapping and surveying, from LiDAR data collection, roof inspection. We also, as Matthew would have spoken earlier, we also offer a wide range of educational programs, STEM and STEAM programs, to engage students from the early level, from as early as grade 3 to college level. And we do offer summer camps, training programs, and we're looking also to in another couple of weeks to launch what is called the Cayman, the Drift UAV drone aerial robotics competition for primary and high school. So that would give students within the Cayman Islands some opportunity to interact with drones, but not only to just interact and fly, but to also have that experience in terms of coding and doing more than just flying a drone around.
There's so much information that you've shared with us this morning. It's totally fascinating. I absolutely want to sign up for the adult version of these courses because so much to learn. I just find it so interesting. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on The Buzz. Matthew, thank you as well for calling in from Canada. I wish you guys the best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much for having us.
And we got to go to the 9 a.m. headline news. And, he shared how you can get in touch with Drift and learn more about the services, the youth camp, to learn about Cayman drone soccer and all the rest. So you know what to do. Find them on Instagram, Google them. The number or website again that you have, if you could just share that with us one more time.
So our number is 345-547-7331. That's our number. Direct calls or WhatsApp, and our website is drift, DRIFTENTS.com. You can find us on the web. And as I said before, you can find us on all social media platforms. Just, search for us, reach out, drop us a message. We are very responsive, so we'll respond to your requests in a very timely manner.
All right, Dervon, thank you so much. And thank you, Matthew, as well. We're going to go to the 9 a.m. headline news, and then I'm going to have my last segment of The Buzz.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored.
Covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
There's a planned power outage in Cayman Brac today, expected in the Bluff East area on Major Donald Drive. Crews will be out replacing 2 broken poles to prevent an unexpected outage. In international news, more than 400 people have been killed by Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. The Israeli military says it's hitting, quote, terror targets across Gaza after talks to extend the ceasefire failed. It's the biggest wave of strikes since January 19th when the ceasefire began. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says Israel will, quote, act against Hamas with increasing military strength, accusing Hamas of, quote, repeated refusal to release its hostages and of rejecting proposals to extend the ceasefire. Hamas has accused Israel of attacking, quote, defenseless civilians and says mediators should hold Israel, quote, fully responsible for violating and overturning the ceasefire. Israel says 59 hostages are still being held in Gaza, with up to 24 believed to be alive. A group representing hostage families has accused the Israeli government of, quote, choosing to give up the hostages by launching new strikes. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the Salad Bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise Him, praise Him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise Him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise Him, praise Him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my faith, yeah. Rock my soul in the blues of my faith, yeah.
Praise time.
I know He cares. He'll always be there. Oh, yeah. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him,
Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it. The Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and on this segment, we are talking with 121, which is formerly Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I have in studio with me Natasha White. She's the program manager at 121. And then we have Azaria Chism, a social work intern from UCCI. Hi. Good
How
morning.
are you? Good morning.
I'm well, thank you.
We're now calm.
Yes, we've settled into this part of the show. We had a lot of gadgets and stuff to take out of here right before you guys came on. So thanks for entertaining me during that those few minutes there
No,
while we had to get stuff out. But that, I don't know if you heard part of that show, but it was so interesting, right?
It was. And all the stuff that came out was really interesting. I was like, oh, what's that?
Right.
Like a drone.
Right. And one of them is a soccer ball drone.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I don't know, Azaria, for you, are you used to this? Is this something that you look at and get into or have been introduced to at all?
Yeah, sometimes they'll come in at UCCI and do demonstrations and stuff like that. So I'm kind of familiar with the drones. They're pretty cool.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get into what we're here to talk about, which really is 121. And as I mentioned, it's formerly Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
It is, yes.
So tell us about the transition. How did it rebrand into 121? Because I feel like Big Brothers, Big Sisters is almost a worldwide.
It is. Okay. And what happened was Big Brothers and Big Sisters ultimately made the decision to remove themselves from the Caribbean and Latin America branches. We decided that it was too valuable of a resource for our young people to completely dissolve it. So we rebranded into a fully Cayman-owned, operated NPO.
Right. Do you know what was the reasoning for moving it out of the Caribbean?
Not 100% sure, but something to do with a donor making a donation that made it tax implications and all that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was a decision they made, and I don't think they took it lightly. However, we really had no choice but to make the decision we did.
Okay. So, in knowing that, thanks for sharing that.
No,
that's interesting, especially if it was a tax implication.
It was.
If. Yeah,
I mean, just from what I've heard, I came in right as they switched to one-to-one.
Okay.
So I took over from the great Angela Martins. She was here, the stalwart, running it from the beginning, and we're now one-to-one completely. But it's been great. It's been a really good opportunity for us because we were able to take it in many different directions, as opposed to having only one type of mentoring, which was one big brother to one little sister, one, like those kind of things.
So how would you differentiate yourself as one-to-one now?
We are now offering multiple different ways of mentoring. So we have now begun a partnership with FRC, and we're doing the Young Parent Program. So we're working with their young parents. If they choose to have a mentor when they finish their program, we match them with a community mentor, and we working on bringing this into the future in having quarterly meetups that inform them, give them information. We have one coming up at the end of April with Life. Literacy is for everyone. They're doing Snuggle Up and Read, where they're going to teach the young moms how to create a routine for reading with their children, to create literacy environments in their home and understanding why it's so important. So we're able to do that. We're working on having different group mentoring sections where we can do young ladies with different things that they'll need to know going into the workforce, or to motivate them to go into the workforce, or motivate them to find out what they want to do. A lot of young kids don't have that motivation that a lot of us had. Like growing up here, I was always like, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to college. It was never a question, but a lot of them aren't there.
Right. Some people just don't have the family support. And, you might have a parent that's just working so much that they don't have that time, especially if you're a single parent as well. They might not have that time to invest in their children in that sense. And to no fault of their own, they're really trying to provide for their child. So to be able to have these programs is so important.
Huge. And the difference in us being able to kind of cater it to our youth and being able to say, we're not only working from 7 to 18 anymore, we're open from 7 to 25.
Oh, nice.
So we're able to we're working on a young men's program on financial literacy, using some community mentors from different banks to be able to kind of start
that's just for the young men?
Well, we're starting for the young men, and then the young women, and then we're going to kind of switch the topics.
Okay, gotcha.
In order to, because we can't do, for the Children's Act, we can't mix sexes and genders. You can't have like a male mentor with female
I understand
mentees. And so when we gear it towards each program, we'll run for the males and then for the females.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, hold on, is it the financial literacy just for the men?
No. I know a lot of, like we were talking, I'm going on vacation this afternoon, and I was like, Azaria's like, I can just see you in a Target. And I was like, I'm going to be so good. But no, it's all, it's learning those things. Like I didn't grow up learning about like a credit card and how important it was to maintain, any form of savings.
A household budget, anything like that. Yeah.
And just knowing
that stuff is so important.
What a credit card versus a debit card is, what interest rates are. So these are things that we want to bring. Basically, it's life skills that we know, A, we might not have been taught.
Right.
But B, parents are tired. And we have a lot of parents who are working 2 jobs, single parents, domestic situations. By the time they come home from work, did you eat dinner?
Yeah, they're burnt out.
Yeah, yeah, completely understand.
And that's kind of the extent. It's not the driving home and how was your day at school today and tell me all about it. So we provide that person who at least once a week asks those questions and starts saying, what do you want to do? How do you want to? Okay, let's create a plan.
I think I like the financial literacy part as well, because I think it was 1975. Women couldn't have a bank account on their own in the UK. It was sometime in the 50s in a lot of states in America. I can't remember when it is in Canada.
Yeah.
But that was our parents' generation for the most of us. And that's a scary thing when I think about it today. Like, what do you mean I couldn't open up a bank account without the permission of a husband or my father? Like, to me, that's wild. And not to be dark, but there is some, when you look at what's going on in America, you can see kind of the civil rights kind of being rolled back.
Yes.
And the more we understand about our finances, the opportunities out there, just the more we are empowered, not just as women, but just as individuals out there, that this goes for everybody.
Exactly.
So the more knowledge we have, the more we can take care of ourselves. I don't see why that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So
No,
I love the fact that you do have a financial literacy program happening.
Yeah, we're in the beginning stages because we've rebranded in such a new way.
Right.
We're working on like the application process and who's eligible, but we've got the structure for it, and we have volunteers. We have people who are willing to give their time, and we're hoping what will happen with both the female group and the male group. We're hoping what will happen is they'll create these community networking skills that in their current situations they may not have the opportunity for.
Right.
So we're trying to create, I know Mr. So-and-so because he was in my financial literacy group, or I know Miss So-and-so because she came to talk to us about her job. And so they're able to create those bonds and identify these role models, and that'll hopefully lead to internships, and that'll hopefully lead to having these community mentors in a way that allows these kids to feel comfortable in the community, comfortable in going out and saying, hey, I'm here, I want to do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is so important. I think sometimes we underestimate how the influence that people will have on us that are a little older that we look up to. And I know from, childhood, some of the pivotal figures that we know in society who I absolutely looked up to.
Yep.
And how much that influenced me, whether my mom would be like, oh no.
Yeah.
But in a good way, just for being able to think for myself, and just, seeing the power of what you can accomplish as, from a woman's perspective as a woman, that just kind of put me on a certain road in life, and highly influential. So being able to know that we have people who can mentor us.
Exactly.
And we're hoping to get some inspiration from them in some way, right?
Yeah.
How to move forward in life, how to move. We don't always have that guidance. So we've got to go to a commercial break right now, but when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation.
Hey, Cayman parents, we get it. You're underslept, over-trafficked. You can barely find your sanity in the morning because you're still trying to find your kids' shoes and lunch boxes. Let Yum take some of the stress away. Every day, over 3,000 students enjoy delicious, nutritious meals from Yum. Over 5 million lunches served and counting. Private school parents? Browse the Yum Cayman app and order up to a month in advance or last minute by 12 a.m. the night before. Government school students? Just drop by the Yum canteen. No pre-orders needed. Yum can't help you find your sanity, but we can sure make your mornings just a bit easier. Check out daily menus at myschoolpos.com or visit yumcayman.ky to learn more.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The Buzz. We are back on The Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. And in studio with me this morning, I have Natasha White, Program Manager of One-to-One, and Azaria Chism, Social Work Intern from UCCI. Now, Azaria, I would like to know about your experience. You're an intern, and you're a student at UCCI, and you're interning with One-to-One.
Yes, ma'am.
So what brought you to One-to-One?
Okay, so I am a second-year social work student over at UCCI, and every year we have to do a practicum, so work experience where we get to be placed somewhere where maybe a social worker can play a role there. So my role over at One-to-One is basically to learn and see what theories, what I've been basically learning in the classroom, how it can be applied.
I understand, yeah.
Right. so far over at one-to-one, their mentorship program, and I have learned so much. I personally did not know what one-to-one was, or big brother, big sister, and so learning how there are people from the community, whether from Cayman or not, they volunteer their time to just spend, grow a rapport, right? Grow a relationship with a young, vulnerable child, or maybe they're not vulnerable, but that parent, like as you were saying earlier, you know, they're working and they may not have that time to provide that emotional support or stability. And you kind of see that happening more often now in Cayman, all over the world, actually. So yeah, it's just been a pleasure.
Did you ever have a mentor when you were a little younger? You're still kind of young, but a little younger.
I wouldn't say mentor exactly, but I had my grandfather. My grandfather raised me, and you know, he always, like, there's things now that I carry to this day, like having manners, respect. I carry that. So I guess in a sense, he was my mentor. He was everything for me.
Wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you know about mentorship opportunities, especially when you were in high school?
No, ma'am.
Okay, interesting.
I did not. And I didn't. And so when I got placed there, I was like, what? I don't know what this is. Obviously, I researched. I went on their website before coming. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm very open-minded as to what is going to be happening. How, you know, what am I going to be doing while I'm over here? And basically, I've learned so much about, like, the intake process with
Can you tell us about that? What is the intake process?
Yeah, so basically, so there's 3 stages, right? So finding the mentor, the mentee, which is the young child person, and then when they all meet. So my supervisor, Livia, she will do interviews with, like, upcoming mentors, people who want to get involved. So she'll find out about their reasons as to why they want to become a mentor, their personality, and then she'll look at a mentee, the child. She'll go to their school, so I'll also go with her to their schools, primary, high school, find out what that child's interests are like, background information, and so forth. And then there's a match form where you'll take both sides, their information, and see which one will partner best. And then after they'll meet with their parents, they'll have some time to talk, and then some time where it's just the child and the mentor, for them to kind of get to know each other a little bit and to feel each other out, if they're comfortable, if they want to go forward with this match. And if so, then it starts. And yeah.
Okay.
She knows her stuff.
She does. Yeah. What would you say makes the qualities of a good mentor? That's for either of you. You can answer that.
Mainly what we look for is somebody who has compassion and somebody who isn't going to judge a young person for the place that they're at in their life. We have a lot of kids that just haven't had experiences. And so when you haven't had experiences, it's not ignorance per se. It's like you just don't know it exists. So opening up that level of compassion, that level of I am so excited almost to re-experience these certain childhood things going on, and just being there with support, with integrity, somebody who shows up thinking about how they present themselves to the world. We're not obviously going to put a child with somebody who isn't a good role model.
Right. And so how somebody presents themselves to the world. Yeah. I think that's a key thing, because that's also in jobs, how you present yourself. Because really what you're communicating to everybody else, this is who I am. This is that outside exterior. Yeah. And it can make a huge impression. No matter what people say, I'm not judging you by what you're wearing or how you've groomed yourself, but how people do judge.
Yeah. And
it makes a huge impression. So
yeah. And our kids don't have that.
Okay.
Well, a lot of, I'm not saying our kids as in one-to-one, but this generation is so different. If you think about how we show up for work, if you think about just like I'm going to be an influencer on TikTok and make millions of dollars, trying to get into this break into this like resilient mindset for these children where you're like, okay, but what's the next step if that doesn't happen?
Right.
Cayman isn't necessarily going to be giving you the views that somewhere else might. So great, be an influencer, but what are you going to do to earn your money? Like, how do we break? We keep thinking of people who would be amazing mentors. We would love to see more people from Cayman. We would love to see more Caymanians. We're in a great...
You don't have a lot of mentors.
We have 60... I think it's 68 currently.
Okay. That sounds like a good number.
And we have quite a few waiting.
Okay.
We need men.
Okay.
We have a lot of young boys and young men who are waiting on mentors, and we have a waiting list of, I think it's like 38 or 40.
38 young men that are...
Or just
boys
in
that are
general,
looking for
like
mentors. Okay.
kids.
Okay.
And majority of them are young boys and men.
I also want to say a couple of them are in like East End, North Side, and
Yes.
there's not a lot of people because no one's getting paid, right? It's a nonprofit, so you're volunteering your time. So it's already enough that we're asking somebody, hey, can you come out and do this? But not a lot of people are willing to go those far places like East End and North Side. So also people being willing to do that.
What kind of outreach do you do in those districts then that are a little further
We
out?
have been focusing on, but like we've been speaking to different businesses out there to talk to people who work out there. Likely they live out there.
Right.
We've spoken to some of the churches. It's just, I find it's hard in our busy days and busy lives to say, I'm going to dedicate, you know, 3 times a month to this child. But it's especially when I was growing up, Cayman was a village. I come from a huge family. Like, my dad's one of 10. I have a bunch of cousins. We all grew up just kind of thrown into a backyard. You guys have fun. But we also were always watched. So, like, there was always some adult around to give us some guidance, whether it was, like, getting the lizards off the tree or how to, fix something on the car. We were always guided by somebody. And it's hard because the community feeling isn't as much for these children now. And they don't have the same they don't have the same
value
structure, that a lot of us had when we were growing up. And we are so focused on our nuclear families and we forget that we have a responsibility to create the next generation of Caymanians.
Right.
How can we sit here and judge our politicians and judge the people in charge when we're creating...
When it starts within the home
Exactly.
itself.
We're creating an atmosphere. Who's going to take over?
Right.
Who are we going to put in that position? Who are we going to elect in 15, 20 years?
Right. That's very true.
And so what we try to do is put people in these situations to allow them to grow into those functioning, successful members of society. And that's what we're hoping when we select these people. And it's a great way we have a lot of people from non-Caymanians who give their time. And in an environment right now where it's very local versus non-local in a lot of things, our company has provided this bridge. And it's shown that some people do come here and just want to give back.
Right. Absolutely.
And we've seen so many, they're all accountants and they're all in different fields where they're busy.
Some, there's also that some people just do it for PR purposes. But, my rebuttal to that is at least they're doing it. What are you doing?
Exactly. But it's not even that, like the amount of time, like hundreds of hours per year that these people are putting in. They should use it on their PR. They are actually contributing to the youth of Cayman.
To helping grow people in
it's
society.
Important. We see it every day. And these people love their mentees. Very rarely do we have a group where it's like, I think I want to close this match. It does happen because personalities are different. Family life is different. Things do happen. But very rarely. We have 8 years, 9-year matches. We have mentors, 3 that I can think of right now, who have actually flown with their mentee to send them off to college.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
it's a very rewarding experience.
It is.
And you can see the time and effort you do put in into
Exactly.
helping guide somebody, mentor somebody. And when you see that spark or that kind of change, that growth, it's an absolutely beautifully rewarding experience. We only have about a minute left. So that time flies by.
It does. It really does.
If there's any kind of lasting words you want people to know, how they can get in touch with One-to-One, if they're interested in being a mentor, please share that information with us.
We would love for more mentors, people who are interested in being a community mentor, which is one-on-one with a child, or people who want to be involved in a group, whether it's talking about what you do, helping a child or young person through, a group, or whether it's you want to do something one-on-one, or if you want to donate, or if you want to somehow be involved support-wise, whether it's media, social media, all these things. We need volunteers. We operate solely off of the kindness of the community. So any way that you give, we are very, very excited to have you as part of it. We need mentors. We need male mentors. We would love to see more Caymanians, and our kids deserve it. Every day we sit here struggling to think, how can we match these children? How can we get them this experience? Because it is so rewarding. And at the end of the day, we just want to see them succeed. That's our mission. We want them all to succeed. Go check us out on Instagram, Facebook at One-to-One Cayman. At One-to-One Cayman.
And it's the number 2.
Yes. So it's the word 1, O-N-E, the number 2, and then the word 1, O-N-E, Cayman. And then our webpage is where everything kind of goes through. It's our hub. So you sign up for virtual orientations to find out more. You can, coming in April, sign up for our newsletter, all that through our webpage, which is www.one-to-one.ky, O-N-E, number 2, O-N-E.ky.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you both in studio with me this morning. And I've got to close off the buzz, but I will be back with my listeners on Thursday morning.
The Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And by Yum, daily school lunch